Hey guys, welcome to the Team Panacea call. We do this call every Monday night at 8:30 Central. This is your go-to place to get plugged in, see what's going on, see what's new. We do some guest speakers, and it's just a good place to really build part of the community and show, and get to know the other people and find out what it is that they are doing. Okay, let me help you guys out that have trouble following instructions and just mute everybody. There we go. All right. Thank you. All right. So, I want to talk a little bit about goal setting. It's one of those things that is, everybody comes in and they're like, I want to be diamond, or I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to be a successful coach. And, the thing that I want you to really take a look at, though, is what does that mean? And what is it going to take to get there? So, if you don't know what the acronym for a SMART goal is, then I want you to write this down. But your goals should be SMART goals, and that first letter, that S, stands for specific, right? You can't just say I want to lose weight. It needs to be I want to lose X amount of pounds, whether it's 15 pounds or 10 pounds or whatever. And, it needs to be measurable. I guess, that those two go in together, that, I guess the first part is I want to lose weight. And then the second part is how much weight, measurable for the M, and you want to lose 15 pounds. You want it to be achievable, right? You don't want to say, I want to lose 15 pounds by tomorrow. You need to give yourself a reasonable amount of time, and it needs to be realistic and and attainable. So the R is for realistic. Again, it's something that you want to be able to do, and with the work that it's going to take to do that. And then the T is for timed. And so, I want to lose 15 pounds in 30 days or 45 days or whatever that is to you. Now, so what does that look like as far as Beachbody business building? So, then you want to, let's take Diamond, for example. If you've got no coaches and you say, I want to be Diamond, then you want to make that specific as far as what it is that you're going to do, and break that down. So if you want to be Diamond in 8 weeks, and Diamond is 8 coaches, 4 on each side, then I want you to put it in your head that means a coach a week, right? And if you're mentoring people and they tell you, okay, I want to be Diamond, and they give you, say, 8 weeks again, or whatever it is, you want to divide that by 8 if they have none, and say, okay, by this day, you need to have a coach, or you're behind. Because what happens is people, they allow themselves, if you don't break it down like that, they allow themselves to try and cram everything into the last couple of days, and it might work for studying for exams, but it doesn't work in this business, and especially if you're talking about money earned. If you want to earn $400 in a month and you haven't earned anything in the first 3 weeks, then clearly you're way behind. So you want to break that stuff down, and you want to be talking to them or reminding yourself, holy cow, I'm really behind. I need to be doing something more than I am doing now. And the thing that, and really that's what it boils down to, is doing things more. For those of you who don't know, this weekend we had this men's leadership event, training camp live, and I was lucky enough to be a featured speaker for the 2nd year in a row. And it's cool for me because that was actually on my list. If you've heard my story from time to time, it starts with me going to a goal setting seminar that Monica Ward told me to go to. And one of the things that I wrote down on my longer term goal was to be a featured speaker at Beachbody events. And And it's funny, ironically, Dave Ward was my roommate at that, and he was the co-host of this. And I remember when I told him that, he was like, "Really? That's interesting." And it turns out we've shared the stage several times now. But so even if we're talking about a long time down the road, you want to have those goals, and the effort that you're putting in and your daily activities need to be bringing you closer to those goals. And so, there's a difference between a task and a goal, and the difference between a task and a goal is that there's emotion attached to the goal. It's something that you want to do, and there's a specific reason that you want to do it. It's not something that you have to do. It's not a job. It's something that you want to do, and you have emotion tied to that. Because if you don't have the emotion tied to it, if somebody comes in and they say, "Hey, I want to be a Beachbody coach, I want to be a successful Beachbody coach," but they don't really know why, they don't have a strong why and understand what it is that drives them to want to be successful, that enthusiasm for signing up to be a coach, the studies have kind of showed that enthusiasm lasts about 4 to 6 weeks. And then after that, they've kind of, they never really know why they signed up anyway. It was just kind of a whim. And, those of us who've signed coaches, that those coaches just kind of disappear. So when you're signing up people, you really want to ask them, what is it that you want to accomplish as a coach? And how long do you want it to take for you to do that? And then figure out what kind of work that they want to put into this. Because the thing that, the amount of work is immediately and intrinsically tied to how successful they are. One of the other people that was a speaker at this event talked about how, he's very successful now, but he's like, for the first 4 years, I was not successful. And he goes, and I'm actually doing, now that I'm successful, and I have been successful for the last 2 years, I'm actually doing the same things that I was doing for those first 4 years. I'm just doing them a lot more. I was very casual about my business to begin with. But when I got serious about it and I woke up and I said, I'm going to do something to build my business today, then things started changing for me. So you have to build this business. You have to work with intention. It's not something that just accidentally happens. These coaches that were on that stage, some of them, guys, I don't throw these numbers out there very often, but some of them earn $1 million a year. $1 million a year as a Beachbody coach, and I'm not there yet, but I'm going to tell you what, I'll be there, and I know that I'll be there because I'm doing what it takes to make that happen. And there's no difference between me and you guys, except for the time that I've been doing this and the level of consistency that I've been doing this. So, I don't want to take up all of our time tonight, so I want to go around the table and give you guys an opportunity to speak. And so, what, the first guy that I see is Kevin. So let me figure out how to unmute Kevin. All right, Kevin, give us your takeaways. A couple of minutes, 3 or 4 minutes. He's giving us the finger. I think he's frozen. Kevin, I'm going to put you on hold, and I'm going to Andrew Wiley then.
Can everybody hear me?
I hear you.
All right, cool. So one of the speakers, I can't remember which one it was, talked about the number 35 being important, and that's our Chris Reed. But anyways, we've heard that, time and time again, and I think it's it's really true. And whether it's 3 to 5 new contacts a day, 3 to 5 communications, 3 to 5 coaches a month. So and what'd you say on Success Club, Chris? We talked about not just achieving for 5, but going for 10 or more a month. Anyways, but that's we all know that, but we all have to do that every day. And I think what you just actually said, Chris, which was resonated during the 2 days, was the casual attitude towards the business and the intentional attitude towards the business that all of the top coaches like you and everyone else there do on a daily basis. But The biggest thing that I actually left with was the rooftop leadership piece that Scott Mann talked about, and then Bob Lucido really, I think, drove home on Sunday, and how we really need, as leaders on our teams, we need to be those people that are showing up every day, going up on that rooftop and taking care of business. And eventually, the more we do that, the more we show our team what we're doing, our team will follow. Maybe one person at a time, but eventually everybody will be, following the right steps that we're taking to build our business. And I think, many things I certainly take away from this, but one of the things that I took away and enjoyed was meeting, some of these people, these faces that we see here week after week, whether it's, Kevin Butts or Ed or Heath Greenlee, Justin Butler, seeing these guys, their faces, it's great to be able to finally, say hi to them, shake their hand, sit down with them, have a good lunch, on Sunday, even though we had some napkins and knives and forks thrown at us, but that was all right. We just, and then being able to connect with, some of the old coaches on the team and hook up with, some people. Like last year was a game changer for me, not only with the business, but the people that I met. I mean, being able to, the associations Chris allowed me to have access to, and it's really what it was, meeting some high-end people and being able to reunite with them this weekend was pretty cool. So thanks.
Yeah, that's great. So I'm flesh out that rooftop leadership for those of you who may not get the analogy, but Scott Mann was one of the speakers, and he's a former Green Beret, and so he talks about rooftop leadership as far as what they did in Afghanistan was they went into villages that were surrounded by the Taliban, and they started making friends with everybody, and they were like, look, we're gonna help you, and we're gonna protect you from the Taliban. And when the Taliban would attack, they would jump up on the roof, climb up on the roof, and they would fight back, and it would be by themselves. But as the attacks kept coming and they kept climbing up there by themselves, then suddenly, somebody on another rooftop is firing back. And then the next night, somebody on another rooftop is firing back. And then eventually everybody in the village is firing back because they have built the trust with this community and these leaders. So, excuse me. So that's the analogy. Okay. Kevin, you ready yet? All right. All right, you're on, buddy.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, cool. So, this weekend was awesome. I took away a lot from it, stuff I started implementing today. In fact, or at least getting it in the works. And even really as early as yesterday, going back to the airport, I got out of the comfort zone, and I actually think a little bit of what Bo Eason said, and that posture and how you carry yourself, led to making 2 contacts. One walking into the plane, and another one with a person sitting next to me. So there's, just having that confidence to sit down and talk to those people was, it wasn't something I hadn't done before, but it just felt a little pressure, a little newer to me. But, I got a lot out of
Okay, we're having technical difficulties there. Mr. Croy, we'll throw it to you, buddy.
All right. I was on the edge of my seat there.
I was waiting for that last word. What's the
Yeah, I actually there's more on here than I could put into 3 to 5 minutes. But I'll go through a couple of things that stick out to me the most. The first thing that stuck out to me was Carl Deichler. He said something, I don't know if he was intending for it to be turned this way in my head, but it came out this way in my head. I stop looking for people that might like fitness, and you don't know. You don't know if somebody's going to be interested or not. So I think today, like I've reached out to probably 20 people today, trying to start new conversations. And I stopped trying to find people that I was looking for that might like getting fit. And I just started conversations because I don't know. They might not. So that was a big thing for me. David Ingram talked about your results not being enough. Like, okay, so you lost 40 pounds and you got a six-pack. That's awesome, but that's not necessarily enough, because that's not always going to be what people relate to. They're going to relate to your struggle. And learning that part of your story and being comfortable with that part of your story when, posting on Facebook or reaching out to people or talking to people, sometimes they're going to ask, what was it like for you? This is what it was like. It was awful. This is what I had to go through, but this is where I got. And that struggle is more important sometimes than the results. Not that they're not important at all, but that's not always enough. So that stuck out to me. Mike Ryan, connecting with people, I think it kind of goes along the same lines. When I reached out I keep going to this because I'm getting a jump start on my 7-day goal, but when I reached out to people today, I literally did not talk to any of them about Beachbody. And it was purposeful that I did that. I didn't want to go there. I wanted to build some relationships. And if I don't, it's so easy for me to get like sucked in and reeled into that. I want to fit it in there. Like I want to get that, but I don't need to do that. I need to be patient with these people, build relationships with these people, be authentic with these people, because they can see through my crap if I don't.
Right.
Something Dave Ward said, people aren't going to do this for you. They're not going to work this business for you. Chris isn't going to work this business for me. Andy's not going to work this business for me. My wife is not going to work this business for me. I have to work this for me. And more than that, my downline, the people below me, are not going to do this for me. They're going to do it for them. And I've got to keep working to build this network that's going to help me. That's on me. And like Chris said, you said it, if you don't, it's your fault. It's not their fault. If I'm not successful at this, that's my fault. I did not work hard enough. And I know that I can work hard enough to be successful at this. I just know that. Knowing and applying are not the same thing.
Right.
So that's my huge big takeaways, and I think that they're important ones.
No, you're exactly right. And you've learned them probably earlier than I did, especially about saying no for somebody. I'll tell you a very quick story to kind of drive that home from my personal experience is as I was getting started as a coach, I talked to every neighbor basically about Beachbody, except for a family that lived just a few houses down, but I didn't really know them. Honestly, I wasn't even sure if all of them spoke English. And there was a whole bunch of them in this one house, and they worked at the airport. And I was just like, they're not interested in this. And I was part of the group that ironically helped, or I was tasked with finding Spanish-speaking people to help with the Spanish launch. And so I was like, well, these are the only Spanish-speaking people that I know, pretty well. And so I went and I took them to the event, and 5 of them signed up, and I was like, Jiminy Christmas, they've been here living 3 houses down from me for, 3 years, and I never said a word to them. And what?
Oh, but you spoke to them, but not about me.
Okay, well, yes. Cody wants me to tell you, I spoke to them, just not about Beachbody. I mean, our kids played together like almost every day. I just didn't think it would be something they'd be interested in. All right, Brian.
Hello. Things that I actually took away was that consistency leads to everything. Jeff or Jeffrey, whatever, Armbruster, he was talking about. Yeah, he was talking about that, and also having a very clear why, because I definitely didn't have that. And then also the 4 steps of telling your story.
What
Definitely
are those 4 steps?
The 1 is your background. 2 is what you didn't like about your situation, or most important. 3 is the solution, and 4 is why you're excited about the future. And share all 4 of them regularly. And the most important one was number 2 out of all of those steps. Got the picture.
Right.
And then this weird coach got up and started talking about the 10X rule book. I don't know who that one was. But chapter 6, if you haven't read it, supposedly that's going to be awesome. So read chapter 6 in the 10X rule. But the biggest thing I kept thinking about today, even when my kids were all around me screaming because it's the last week of school and they're all just hyper, was my story and trying to get it out. So I have like little note cards and stickies at my work, actually, in my little desk, of trying to get that all put together. And I don't know, I just kept thinking about that all day.
Right. Awesome. Okay. Greenlee.
Okay. All right. I had 4 takeaways that were really important. First one's already been mentioned. It's about consistency. When you're working this business, you have to be consistent all the time. You have to put in 110% effort in working your business. And what that all boils down to is you've got to show up every day. I mean, from the moment your feet hit the floor out of that bed until you go to bed at night, you need to be constantly thinking about your business, the people that you want to reach, the people you want to help. And one of the most important takeaways that I got out of it was the building relationship, because I've been guilty of it before, of talking to people and all of a sudden I let the beach body slip in, and next thing I'm doing the word vomit. It's all blah, and then people are, they're running away scared. And it's very important to build that relationship and not even bring up the subject of Beachbody. Let it happen naturally by them seeing your Facebook post. When they come across a photo of a before and after photo, and they're like, holy crap, look at all the weight that Heath lost. What did he do to get that weight off? And then, if they mention it, then you can say, well, this is what I did. I did a program called the 21-Day Fix. Have you ever heard about it? No, I haven't. Well, can I send you 2 video links to look at real quick? It's a really interesting program. Well, yeah, sure. Then, you send them the link and you pretty much planted the seed. And you have to talk to a lot of people. If you're going to build this business successfully, you can't just talk to 2 people in a month and go, oh, well, I didn't, my business isn't growing because, I only talked to 2 people and they never got back to me. You got to step it up. If you're not talking to, 10 people, 20 people a day, I mean, you're not going to be successful. And those are areas that I'm steadily working on, reaching out, engaging, in more conversations with people. And, that's just something you have to do. If you're not going to talk to people, then your business is not going to go. It's not going to grow at all.
Right. And, and so Heath aims high. Heath came in, made diamond, won some money from Beachbody Challenge and stuff like that. And I'll tell you, my numbers are 3 to 5. He throws down 10 and 20, so and 10 and 20 is, 3 to 4 or 5 times better than 3 to 5. It's just one of those things that, it's like I was talking about earlier. If you work on this business, I mean, the business, the work is all the same. It's just how often you're going to do it. You know, if Success Club 5 is your goal, or, you know, the coach that makes Success Club 5 every month is going to be half as successful as the coach that makes Success Club 10. I mean, and that sounds like stupid simple, but this business is pretty stupid simple. It's just about talking to people and solving their problems. Awesome. All right. So let me see who's left. There you go, Mr. Savor. Savor. Did I say your? I don't know how to say your name. Sorry, partner. I butchered. Savoy. How to say your last name?
Savor.
Savor. Oh, I said it right. I
Yeah,
try to
you
get
got it.
fancy and be French.
You got it. There was a lot of things that I took away from this event. It was pretty powerful. I got, pretty emotional a few different times during it. But there's some of the things that I took away. I really liked the roundtables because a lot of the guys shared their personal stories and just their different way of like working the business. And like for me, I always feel like I have to I guess it's not a bad thing, but I feel like I have to do it a certain way somebody else is doing it. And a couple of these things these guys mentioned was like, focus on your strengths, go all in on your strengths. And because there's certain things that I'm good at. So I really like that. And when Gary Vee came on, he said a lot of cool things and a lot of things that were pretty powerful for me. Another one, going all in on my strengths. I really need to focus on that. Geez, my notes are kind of crappy, but Jeffrey Armbruster, a why that makes you cry. In this business, I see how lucrative it is, and for a guy like me that isn't made of money, I think about a why that makes me cry, and that's my family. So I'm gonna go all in on this business. I was lucky to be able to go to this event. Yeah, I really don't know.
Okay, no, that's good. So and it's funny that you talk about that you were lucky to go to that event, and the medal is going, or the real test is going to see what you guys do from here. Andrew went to this last event, and his business has grown substantially since that last event. And I'm not saying that it was just because of that event, but it's probably got something to do with it. And there was one of those guys up there that I don't know who talked to him, but they brought, they mentioned him from the stage. Guy had $11 in his checking account, and flew to the event using his sister's frequent flyer miles. It's about making the effort. You either make an effort or you make an excuse. So you apply that to everything in this business. You either make Success Club or you make an excuse about why you didn't. Those are the two things that you can do. And as far as goals, I hesitate when I say that, hey, there's guys on stage earning $1 million. Because I don't want you guys to be sitting here going, oh, I'm going to be $1 million Beachbody coach yet. I want you to be $100 a week Beachbody coach first, and then a $400 a week Beachbody coach or something like that, because I want those goals to be small, and measurable to begin with. Because when I started, I just wanted to pay for my stuff. And then I was like, hey, you know what? I want to, work a little bit less overtime. Hey, I want to get out of debt. Hey, I'm going to bring Cody home. Hey, you know what? I'm going to actually leave my job. And, and then it was like, hey, we're going to buy a different house and we're going to travel more. And so your why is going to change. You can have that long-term why, but you can have, you need to have smaller bite-size goals and whys too. There's a there's a saying I would say it's an old Chinese saying, but probably not because it involves elephants. But, the question is, how do you eat an elephant? And one bite at a time, one bite at a time. You can't just sit there and be like, I'm going to eat this elephant. And you just got to start and make it happen. So, okay, I want to open it up real quick. I want to, for just a couple minutes, does anybody have any questions or something that you're trying to figure out, something that you've been wrestling with? Then, we'll do our best to answer that. And if not, then we will just wrap things up. Nope. Okay. Success Club, guys, it's the 23rd. Make sure that you get in. Make sure that your people are in. If you've got coaches, go to your sponsorship drill down, take a look, see who's got points, and reach out to them and see what it is that you can help them do to make it in Success Club. You guys who went to the event, now's the time, right? We got back. We've got our seven-day goals. Everybody's 7-day goals. I looked over of some of them, but everybody's 7-day goal should be to make sure you're in Success Club. So I'm excited to see what you guys do and to see the rest of you guys on the boards. Tell you what, check out, for those of you who hadn't noticed, I don't know where Justin is, if he's at like the motocross or, some sort of gymnastics meet or what. But look, guys on the team call from stands at a football arena. Look at that guy. That guy's serious. So, all right, no excuses like Justin. See you guys on the boards. Thanks for being on the call.